Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be there again today, but I am in court again. Hopefully it'll finish today, but I wanted to have a chance to go over with you guys some of the problems that you missed. Um, okay, for the first problem, you could solve it any way you'd like. I personally tried to factor it, so if you want to factor it, this is what you would have done. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. That's a 1. So two numbers that multiply to give you negative 20, but add to give you 1 would be negative 4 and 5. That would have given you x minus 4 and x plus 5. But remember, once you slide, you have to go back and divide. And you divide by your leading coefficient. So that gives you x minus 1. And remember, you do bottoms up if it doesn't divide. And then that'll give you 4x plus 5. Then you set them both equal to 0, and that is how you got 1. And then over here, you're going to get a negative 5/4. Now, if you wanted to do the quadratic formula, you could have done that too. The quadratic formula, your A would have been 4, your B would have been 1, and your C would have been negative 5. A lot of people messed up right here. You put 1 minus 80 and you got negative 79, but look right here, you've got a negative times a negative is going to give you a positive. So you ended up getting negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 81 all over 8. And of course the square root of 81 is 9. So you ended up getting negative 1 plus or minus 9 all over 8, and then that simplified to 1 and negative 5 over 4. Okay, the next one did not factor, so the best way to do number 2 was to use the quadratic formula. And I never like to have a leading coefficient of a negative, so I just bring everything over this way. So when you go to solve this, just use the quadratic formula. I wouldn't even use completing the square because you'd have to factor out that 2, and that would make that a little complicated. So here's your A, your B, and your C value. So x is going to equal 7 plus or minus negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 8 all over 2 times 2. Okay, a lot of you messed up right here. You either put a plus 64 or you had a negative 49 because you forgot to put parentheses around it. Some of you just forgot that it was a negative, but you forgot your I. Well, that negative comes out as an I. So your final answer is negative 7 plus or minus I square root of 15 all over 4. And there was nothing you could do to break that one down. You just left it like that. Okay, the last problem, you couldn't factor it, so you could use the quadratic formula or you could complete the square. Since I haven't done that yet, let's complete the square. So you would have x squared plus 14x plus, and then you leave a blank. Then you'd kick the 25 out, and then you'd have the minus the blank. And it's still equal to 0. So half of 14 is 7, and 7 squared is 49. So you would add 49 here, subtract 49 there. So that will give you x squared plus 14x plus 49. And that would give you a negative 24. And don't forget it's still equal to 0. That one factors into x plus 7 squared minus 24 equals 0. And then you have to solve for x, so you have to get it by itself. So that gives you x plus 7 squared is equal to 24. Take the square root of both sides. That leaves you with x plus 7 equals positive and negative square root of 24. But this breaks down. It's 4 times 6. Some of you do pairs, some of you don't. So it's going to end up being x plus 7 equals positive and negative 2 square root of 6. And then when you subtract the 7, you get x is equal to negative 7 plus or minus the square root of, or 2 square root of 6. Now, if you missed any of these three problems, you are supposed to do the worksheet that I've attached on Blackboard that says, Unit 2, problems 1 through 3. And those are the problems you're supposed to do to review these.